Welcome to the Library of Virginia. I am Ashley R. Craig, the Community Engagement and Partnership Specialist at the Library of Virginia. I am in the gallery where our current exhibition, Indigenous Perspectives, is on display until August 17, 2024. Today, I would like to highlight a complicated and complex moment in Virginia's history, the passage of the Racial Integrity Act of 1924. March 20th, 2024 marks the centennial of the passage of the Racial Integrity Act that was signed into law by Governor Albert Lee Trinkle. In simplistic terms, every individual living in the Commonwealth of Virginia was required to state their race on a registration card that was issued by the Bureau of Vital Statistics. Also, the law stated that there were only two races in Virginia, quote, white or quote, colored. If a person failed to register, they could be charged with a felony and 1 year of confinement in the state penitentiary. Once this legislation was enacted, Dr. Walter Plecker, the director and registrar of the Virginia Bureau of Vital Statistics, used the entire state apparatus to increase the tax on particular communities in Virginia, especially Indigenous Virginians. Due to this law, Indigenous Virginians were eliminated from written record because they were to be identified as colored instead of as Indian. The act was the beginning of a paper genocide in Virginia. Dr. Plecker sought to enforce the law by circulating a list of surnames to all the Virginia's circuit clerks that supposedly identify what he called, quote, mixed Negroid Virginia families striving to pass as Indian or white in each county. Many of the surnames on this document can be connected to some of Virginia's federally and state recognized tribes today. Plecker also sent out alerts to county officials, hospitals, doctors, midwives, and other healthcare workers and record keepers about families who he considered suspect. On January 13th, 1942, he wrote to Mary Atkins of Roxbury, Virginia, who he described as Indian. He informed her that, quote, we find that you are unable to read or write. The race of both parents is given as Indian. That term is no longer accepted as a correct one on a birth or death certificate, as it has been clearly established by a thorough study of all groups claiming to be Indians that there is no native-born Virginian family claiming to be Indians is unmixed with Negro. Plecker went even further to complain that, quote, this Indian stuff has gone far enough, but I'm not prepared just at the present to say what will be done to make example of some people. After the passage of the Racial Integrity Act, a supplemental law had to be enacted to address the issue of many prominent white families in Virginia being classified as colored because they descended from Pocahontas. Known as the Pocahontas exception, this law allowed prominent Virginia families that claimed to trace their ancestry through indigenous people or were descendants of Pocahontas and John Rolfe could still be classified as white. The Racial Integrity Act was strengthened the state's ban on interracial marriage and remained in effect until 1967. It was not until the U.S. Supreme Court unanimously decided in the landmark case Loving v. Virginia that banning interracial marriage denied Virginians a fundamental freedom of marriage. In 1997, Governor George Allen simplified the process by which Virginia Indians could correct their birth certificates. I hope you'll be able to visit the Library of Virginia to see some of these documents in our Indigenous Perspectives exhibition.